understand you. So the laptop will be available from day after tomorrow. So I'm sure that the Thursday class will on own laptop, right? So from there, we'll go with the solving one by one examples. We'll see one or two classes for only solving the problems, or seeing what is the those conditions and what are these statements, how to use those statements. So by practical, I will show it to you. So according to your wish, I am following those operators also with examples. We'll do that. Now, just to tell me orally when to use if case and when to use switch case. Why we move to the switch case? What is the drawback in the if case? What is your observation? Shall I repeat it once again, ma?
Sir, if case is Boolean, sir, it can only accept true or false. Whereas switch can accept numerical values. So there can be multiple cases
Yes,
and not
exactly.
only true or false.
Exactly. Good. Ma. Exactly. See, when you go with the if case, you have only two options, or more than two options. You are getting difficulty. That will, complexity will be increasing. The complexity will increase. So instead of going with the if and else cases, if we are going to, we are moving to switch case. So in the switch cases, we can write number of cases. That means the number of options we are going to use. So the complexity is less when you compare to the if and else. Why? Because in if and else, we have if, either if or else. What when it comes to the switch case, we have number of cases according to your wish. That is, if the condition is according to your condition, it will check for all the cases. It will check for all the cases, and which one is matched with your case, only execute the particular case. So that is the switch case. So I think you understood the major difference between if else and switch case. So forget about else. So we'll call it as an if and switch. So now I'll move to the next one. Ma. I think most of you understood the difference, major difference. So that is the major difference for if and switch cases. Ma. Because if it is more than two, it is the complexity will increase in the if cases. So that's why we are moving to switch cases. The number of cases are more. So we'll put break. So if it is a break, so once you reach that break, after that it will come out from that while loop, switch loop. So it will come out from that loop. So that break is not mandatory, that is optional. So that why we are mentioning that break means once it is done, once you are what you are expecting that is reached means why to study the rest of the cases. That is the meaning of it. Why to go with the rest of the cases? See, for example, here we have three cases, right? Case one, case two, case three. So in these three cases, assume that in the first case is satisfied with your condition. What you are expecting that is satisfied with the first one only, first condition only. So why to read the second case and why to read the third case? It is waste of time, right? So that is the meaning of it. So that's why we are putting break. So if you remove that break, there is no problem. Or once the condition is satisfied, it will display according to your request. So first case one will be executed and you will get the answer for that. There is no doubt. But it will read the second case as well as it will read all the cases which are mentioned under switch case. So the compilation we need to take, the we need to read all the cases means it is somewhat a waste of time, right? So that's why we are putting break. So that break is optional, not mandatory. So if you remove that break also, you will get the same answer according to your question, that condition, according to your condition. So why we are introducing that break? So why to waste the time? So once it is done with the first case itself, there is no need to read the rest of the cases in that switch case. It will come out from the loop. That is the meaning of it. So, so we have seen up to this in the previous class, right? So I think how it works, we already discussed, but anyhow, go through it once. So how it works? So switch case checks the values of expression or variable. So the value of expression or variable. So whatever the condition you have mentioned, again is the list of cases. Means we have mentioned some 5 cases or 10 cases or 3 cases or 4 cases. It is only 2 cases. We won't use the switch case, right? Why? Because if there are only 2 cases, we'll better go for if case, if and else. We'll use if the condition is satisfied, print the if one, execute the if one, otherwise go to the else part. So there are only 2 cases. So if you have more than two only, then you should use this switch case. That is the meaning of it. So okay, so that is the thing we need to understand. Okay, so again as the list cases value said, when the match is found, that means when the match is found means we have number of cases, and we switch, we will mention that condition within the bracket of switch. We'll mention what is your condition. That means case 1 or case 2 or case 3 or case 4, something like that we are going to mention. So once it is done, it will the block of statement associated with that case is executed. For example, if I mention answer is 3, switch 3. Switch 3 means directly it will goes to the third. First one it will verify his second one is not asking skip. When it comes to the third, yes, it is matched. So then the third case will execute. The third case will execute. So that's what he is saying. Next, expression should be integer expression or character. So float values will not take. Why? Because in the cases we will mention first case, second case, third case like that. So there is no 1.2 case, 1.3 case, 1.5 case, 2.1, 2.3. It is not like that, right? So that's why the integer expression. So the values, the cases should be in integer mode. Case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, up to case 1. So like that. If you go with the characters A, B, C, case A, case B, case C, case D, case C. So that depends upon your wish. You can go with the case 1, case 2, or case A, case B. That is your wish. You can go with any one of these things. So expression should be integer. That is mandate. It should be integer. It is not a float value. It should not float value. Next, break statement takes control out of the case. So once it is reached the break case, so once the condition, the case is executed, once it is reached the break, so it will comes out from that entire loop. So it will come out. Break statement is optional. Yes, break statement is optional means it is not mandatory to write the break. If I write the break, it will comes out total from the, it comes out from the total that switch case. Otherwise, it will execute that particular case only, but it will read the rest of the cases also. It will verify case 4 not required because the condition is 3. We mentioned as read only 3, execute only 3. So once 3 is executed, it will goes to the 4 not matching, declared. Next goes to this next case 5. So declined. Why? Because we are denying to accept that. That is not satisfying the condition. So like that, it will read rest of the cases in that particular switch. So he has given some example for this also. Hash include stdio.h void main. See, here also he mentioned void. If you write void means any data type you can use. That may be integer or float or whatever. So that's why if I put only integer, why to take the risk? So I'll write void main. So the most of the programmers write void main as the main function. That is the starting of the function, right? So they will put void in front of the main function instead of particular data type like integer, float, like that. Instead of writing like that, I will put void. So any data type it will accept. That is the meaning. So void main open brace after the integer. So int roll number, roll means roll number. You should assume like that. So int roll equals to 3. So now the loop starts. Switch roll number. So switch roll number. Right now I have taken case 1, case 2, case 3. Only 3 cases he has taken. Case 4 is default thing he has written. Okay. So next default thing means if anyone is not satisfied, print the default thing. That is the meaning of it. That means if a case we have right, if false, it will else only, right? So like that, it will false for the 3 cases. It will print the case, right? So switch roll number. So roll number is I have taken as 3. So it will come to the enter into switch 1 not required, switch 2 not required. So switch 3, yes, the condition role is 3, right? So 3, yes, case 3 should be taken. So it will take and it will execute the case 3. Printf I am John. So assume that if the value is if the inter role value you have given as 4, assume that it is 4. Now what will be the answer? If it is 4 means it will search for 1, 2, 3, not matching, not matching, not matching. So there is no other matching value, matching case is found in that switch case. So what is the default answer? Print no student is found. So it will print no student is found. So that is the answer if your roll number is 4. If it is roll number is 3, yes, it will print I am John. Who is roll number I am asking? So he says that sir, I'm John, sir. Roll number 3 is I am John. Roll number 2, I am Nikhil, sir. Like that. So who is roll number 2 means I am Nikhil. So I am Pankaj, roll number 1. So like, so you can write up to 60 numbers or whatever the numbers required for your class. So if particular role class is 60. So if I ask roll number is 61. So what is the answer I'm getting? No student form. Because no one is there, right? Your last roll number is 60. So if I write 61, so it will ask no student is found. I think are you following me? So like this it will go. No? So 3 is assigned to integer variable, that is roll number, integer variable only, right? So like this it will go on. So whatever the things we have already we have discussed these things. So the switch case executes code from top to bottom. That means it will start verifying from starting to ending. So if I put break, assume that your case 2 is already satisfied, that condition is matching. Then if you put break, so once it is break, so it will stop there, it will come out from the loop. Next it will now enter into the first case, that is case 1. So top to bottom, why we are saying, so it will start from case 1 only, it will read all the cases until and unless it is matched. So if it is matched, it will stop. If there is a break, it will come out from the loop without reading the rest of the cases. Without reading the rest of the cases. So it will enter into the first case, that is case 1. It will validate case number. It will validate case number with the variable roll number. Okay, if the roll number is 3, it will check for the case number 3. So it will validate whether it is matched, we will stop it. Otherwise, I'll keep on studying the next. So if no match found, then it will jump to next case like that. If no match found, then it will jump to next case. When it finds matching case, it will execute block of code specified in that case. That's what I said, right? If it is 3 is matching, so it will execute the 3. So in the case 3, what is there? There is a printf. It is asking I am John. Yes, that answer I will get. But why? Because I am asking for who is roll number 3. So that is the switch case concept one. So I think you understood. Right. Now come to the next control statement, that is while state. So while loop. So what is the syntax for while loop? So while condition. So while condition means the best example for while means okay, we'll see this after that. I'll go with one example. So while, because in the while we'll go with the increment or decrement, like that will. So while means a roll number. If your after your roll number start, assume that most of the cases it starts with one only, right? So assume that I'm saying after 10 I require, and the condition is from roll number 10 to roll number 20. So out of your class, your strength is 1 to 60. Assume that your strength is 1 to 60. But I'm asking while 10 consider and up to the 20 only. So 10 to 20 I need roll number 10 to 20. Like when you conduct the lab exams, so what we do in general, we'll divide into two sessions, right? So one to roll number 1 to 30 is one session, that is morning session or whatever the session. So we'll divide into groups, right? So like that only one. So the in that cases we'll use the while case. So while that is then only enter, and where to stop also we need to mention. So that is about the while case. Okay, we'll go through it. You'll understand better. So the flow. This is the flow chart, right? So what is the condition? Test condition. If it is true, enter into the body. If it is false, direct come out from the loop. There is no need to enter into the condition. While if the while condition is satisfied, then only enter into that while loop. If it is not satisfied, there is no need to enter into the that loop. So note for single line of code, opening and closing braces are not needed. I repeat, for single line of code. For single line of code, opening and closing braces are not needed. So while one is used for infinite loop. So while one means it will use it for infinite loop. So initialization, incrementation, and condition steps are on different line. While loop is also while loop is also entry controlled loop. Entry controlled loop means if this condition is satisfied, then only you should enter into that loop, right? So that's why entry is controlled. That entry is controlled loop. So if condition are checked, if found true, then and then only code is executed. That's what. So if you want to enter into that loop, you should have that condition should be satisfied, right? So if I ask, there is a exam for first year section J PPS exam, mid exam. So I'll allow only section J people, not other people, right? So if the condition is what is the condition? Section J. So like that we'll have that entry is controlled. So we are restricting the entry for only entry for section J. So other student for other staff room, other classrooms, exams for other rooms, like that. So while do while. So do it while the condition is satisfied, like that one. Do while. So you have to do while the condition is satisfied only. So do while loop syntax is do directly do. Do means you have to do it. So you have to do this while the condition is satisfied. So we are mentioning that condition. So if the condition is satisfied, do this. That is the meaning of it. So means if you are a J section student, enter into the class number 206 or 207, something like that. If I mentioned that, so do means what? Enter into the 207 room, classroom number 207. If you are a condition is, what is the condition ma? While section J. So you are a section J student, then only enter into that, enter into the classroom like that. So you have to do what is the condition? What is I need to do? Yeah, I need to enter into the 207 if I am belongs to section J. So implementation. So there is a condition also, right? So if I mention condition, both conditions. So roll number 1 to 10, roll number 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Otherwise, 1 to 30 is belongs to one classroom, 30 to 60 another room. If I divide, I need to partition the class, right? Because when I conduct the exams in this pandemic situation, I can allocate only one student for one bench. So then what is the solution, ma? So I need to reduce the strength in that particular classroom. So one bench for one student. So assume that there are 30 benches in that room. So only 30 students will be occupied in that, allocated in that particular classroom. For 30 to 60, another classroom like that. So we'll get one example, ma. Don't worry for this. I'll show one example also. We have one example. So it will goes to the start. So once the statement is okay, then it will go to the condition. So if it is true, so what should be done? If it is false, what should be done? So it is exit controlled loop. Exit controlled means okay, I'll see one by one. So just go through it once. So initialization, incrementation, and condition steps are on different line. Yes. It is also called bottom testing. It is also called bottom tested. That is, condition is tested at bottom and body has to execute at least once. Bottom tested means it will go according to your condition. For example, if I ask for rule number 10 to 20. So what are the numbers I will get in between them? 10, after that one increment 11, one increment 12, so 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, up to 20. So I'm asking for up to 20, from 10 to 20. So that's what. So bottom means what? 20. So after 20, it will come out. So first statement. So this is also like while statement. We have the first statement. That means, okay, once you just go through for loop, it is also loop, for loop. So we have already seen the basic of looping statements in C. So C language provides us a different kind of looping statements such as for loop, while loop, do while loop. In this chapter, we will be learning different flavors of for loop statements. So we'll see one by one. So different ways of using for loop in C programming. So in order to do certain actions multiple times, so certain actions multiple times, we use loop control statements. For loop can be implemented in different what is of using for loop. So single statement. So single statement inside for loop. Multiple statements inside for loop. No statement inside for loop. So semicolon at the end of for loop. So just okay, I'll show one thing for you. See, flow chart. So different ways of writing for loops. So these are the different ways of. So these are the number of possibilities for writing for loop. For single statement, multiple statements, bodiless loop, and infinite loop and missing condition inside for loop. So now we have the examples for this one. See, number of ways, right? The first way one. First way is single statement inside for loop. So what is the single statement? For I equals to 0, I less than or less than 5, less than or equals to కాదు. So it is only less than. So I is less than 5, and then increment the I increment the I means I plus plus. So how to read this ma? For I equals to 0. So for I equals to 0, I equals to 0, I less than 5. So I can read from I equals to 0 and up to the I less than 5. I less than 5 means up to 4 is satisfied. Up to 4 is satisfied, right? So up to 4 I can increment. So how do I increment? I plus plus I plus plus. So we have seen the increment operator, right? We have two types of increment operator. One is pre-increment and second one is post-increment. Post increment. So what type of increment we have here? It is post increment. Post increment means first you execute this, after that only increment this. So if it is pre increment, first only you have to increment, then only enter into that one. So if it is post increment means first enter into that one, you perform that, you execute it, after that only start again incrementing that. So above code is that is printf hello. So above code is snippet. So snippet will print hello word 5 times. Why it is print 5 times means from 0. If I equals to 0, one time will be executed, it will print hello. Second time it will increment as I value as 1. I value as 1. So second time also it will be incremented and it will execute hello. So 2 times hello is done. Next again we have the incrementation after 1 2. Yes, 2 is less than 5. Again it will execute once again. So third hello is also received. So again increment the I. So after incrementing the I value becomes 3. So I value is 3 means I value is less than 5. Okay, accepted. Again, it will print hello. Fourth hello also received. After that, one more increment, it becomes 4. I value is 4. So I value is 4. Yes, 4 is less than 5. Yes, condition is true. Enter into the hello loop. And again, one more hello we have received. Total 5 hellos received till now. After that, one again increment I. So after 5, 4, the next increment is 5, right? So 5 less than 5, yes, condition is false. 5 less than 5, condition is false. So it will come out from the loop. So how many hellos you have received? 5 times. If 5 equals to 0, yes, 0 is less than 5, 1 hello received. So like that you have received 5 hellos till now. Are you following? So we have a single statement inside the for loop body. Only single statement we have. So no need to grab a print inside opening and closing curly black. So what if there is a single statement, so that's why we have not written any open brace and closed brace for this, because the statement is only single, that is printf hello. So curly black is optional, that's why it is optional. Now second way 2, multiple statements inside for loop. Yes, same condition. The for loop condition is I value is 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. So enter into the loop and printf statement 1, printf statement 2, printf statement 3. So whatever the statement 3 means hello, like that whatever you write inside the printf, you will be received as the output, right? So first one is rule number 1. Assume that it is some what Nikhil, assume to printf for loop is incrementing. Next number is Nikhil, Sahit, something like that. It goes on names. So it depends upon your number of statements. What you write in the under printf, it will print there. So again, if condition you already know it. If the condition is required, we will go with like this. If we have a block of code that is to be executed multiple times, then we can use curly braces to wrap multiple statements in for loop. So that's what. Yes. So we have used the open brace and closed brace, right? So in the for loop also, again we wrote one if condition. Are you following? If is also a one condition. So once it is enter into the for loop, it is taken the executed the printf first statement, second statement, third statement is also over. Again, we put one condition under the for loop. Yes, you can write it, no problem. So in for loop also, I can write one more for loop. Depends upon your requirement. So if condition also I have written under for loop. So once it is if condition is closed, because in the if condition, it is my requirement. So once you start doing the practice of problems, you will see this kind of things also. So under loop, again we can define one more loop also. So that is the meaning of it. Next, third way three. So no statement inside for loop. See, the condition is the same for I equals to 0, I less than or equals to 5. The semicolon is important. The syntax, whatever the syntax you are following, that is important. Without syntax, it will not be considered. So this is bodiless for loop. This is bodiless. So there is no body inside the for loop. So it is used to increment value of I. Yes, of course, it is used to increment value of I. This this variety of for loop is not used generally. Why? Why? Because what is the use of this? If there is no statement inside the for loop, it is waste of time, right? Because I need to assume that up to the 4 I value 4. If I value is 4, that means 5 times I need to enter into the loop, but I don't get any output for that. Only the compiler knows the execution part. So if you want to go with interpreter, one by one line will be executed. You know that it is reading the for loop, but there is no output is for this for loop. It will goes with 5 times. It will goes with 5 times. If the I value is 0, it will for loop for 5 times, but there is no output. Why? Because there is no statement inside this. That's why, see, at the end of above for loop, value of I will be 5. So when it comes out from the while loop, that is for loop, the I value becomes 5. 5 is greater than 5 is less than 5, so false. So then it will comes out from that for loop. That is the meaning of it. At the end of above for I will be 5. Sorry. So when the I value is 5, then only it will come out from the for loop. Next, one more thing, one more way. So semicolon at the end of for loop. See, in the previous for loops, there is no semicolon. Now we have the semicolon for loop. So what is this? Generally, the beginners thought that we will get compile error if we write semicolon at the end of for loop. Because still now we have not seen any kind of semicolon up to the three phases we have seen, right? Way 1, way 2, way 3. So we haven't used any semicolon for the for. So this is a perfectly legal statement in C program. This statement is similar to body less for loop. So when you write semicolon, so the statement is similar to body less for loop. Are you following? See, now we don't have any semicolon for the way 5. If you put semicolon after for loop, so it will consider as it is body less for loop. So once it is body left for loop means you won't get any output. There is no need to, there is no body. There is no body, right? So that's why. Now one more way is multiple initialization statements inside for loop. So multiple initializations. So now see, what are the multiple initialization? For I equals to 0, comma j equals to 0. So if both are 0 and I is less than 5, then increment I. So if the condition of 0 and 1, then only you check for the I is less than or equals to 5. After that only increment di. Means means the I value should be 0, j value should be 0. Then only it will enter into the loop. Then only it will enter into the loop. So after enter into the loop, what is the process again? Up to I value is 4, it will execute. The loop will execute up to I value is 4. J value is 0. Because J value is not incrementing, right? So J should be 0 for all the loops, all the number of time loops. Are you following me? So both should be satisfied, then only it will enter into the loop. That is the meaning of it. So multiple initializations. I value is 0, j value is 0. Of course, you want to write the k value is also 0. It depends upon your requirement. So you can write comma, that is semicolon, k is also 0. After that, if you wish to increment, only you can increment I. If you want to increment the j value also, you can do that also. So multiple initialization statements must be separated by comma in for loop. So multiple initialization. So if I put semicolon, it won't be treated as multiple one. So for I equals to 0, comma j equals to 0, comma k equals to 0, then I can write a number of things. I, j, k, l, m, n. So I can write by putting comma. If I put semicolon, it will be different because the syntax is different. So if you put semicolon, there ends the matter. So after that, it will go to the next condition is I value is less than 5, comma j value is, so like that also you can go. I value is comma 5, less than 5, j value is comma j15, k value is less than 5. You can write like this. But after putting semicolon, you should stop that one. So again, I plus this like that. So multiple initialization statements must be separated by comma only, not the semicolon. So remember these things when you write the code. So I equals to 0, comma. You should not write semicolon. Next, one more thing, that is sixth way. Missing increment or decrement statement. Missing increment or decrement statement. See, for I equals to 0, semicolon, I less than 5. So I less than 5. So there is no incrementation here. There is no incrementation in the for loop, right? But when you start doing the execute, however, we have to explicitly alter the value I in the loop body. So I have the loop itself. We should write that increment or decrement, right? That is the better option. So after this also I have written I plus plus. Yes, it will work. It will work. But if you write it in the for loop, then will be easy to identify that. So this is also valid. This is also a valid. Next, one more thing. Missing initialization in for loop. Missing initialization. So for I equals to 0, I have not written. I put semicolon. I less than 5, I plus plus. So we have to set value of I before entering into the loop, before entering in the loop. Otherwise, it will take garbage value of I. It will take garbage value of I. So we have to write I equals to 0 within the for loop only. Right? If I value is less than 5 means it will take the garbage value. That is the problem. Next, infinite for loop. So for loop semicolon semicolon I have written, right? Semicolon semicolon. So what is going to be happen? It will go with infinite loop. Why? Because there is no condition, right? I value you have set 0. So after 0, where to stop? I less than 5 or I less than 6 or I less than. Now the answer is I less than infinity, like that. Less than or equals to infinity means infinite loop. Up to infinite it will print. It won't come out from that loop. You won't get any answer. When you execute this one, you won't get any answer. It won't stop. It will keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. You won't get any kind of answer. It won't stop the execution, right? It will keep executing it. It won't stop. Once it is in infinite loop, you won't stop the process. So until and unless you make the changes for the loop. So it will fall in infinite loop. So infinite for loop must having breaking condition. So once it is there is a break condition, yes. What I said, if there is a break condition, it will come out from the loop. Yes. So the condition, what is that? Infinite for loop must have breaking condition in order to break for loop. That means it will come out from the loop. If you don't write that break statement, so it will execute infinitely. So it will not stop. So otherwise uh, it will cause overflow of stack. Why overflow of stack means it will keep on going. It won't stop, right? It will keep on going. So that is the problem. So summary of different ways of implementing for loop. This is important. So just see this one. Whatever we have seen till now, so it is in the format of a table box. So I equals to 0, first one, I less than 10 means up to 9 equals to, sorry, up to I equals to 9, it will execute. So one statement, multiple statement. Next, there is no body means there is a semicolon. Semicolon once we take it means uh, there is no body. If I put semicolon, so it will be treated as no body. After putting semicolon, if you write something, it won't read. Just try it also. Try. Oh, okay, we will do that after. Once we start practicing it, I'll show it to you. Why? Because once you put after reading that semicolon, it will be treated as there is no body for that for loop. If you write open brace and something, no, not that will be nullified. It will not read by the compiler. So multiple initializations means that's what I said, right? I equals to 0, comma, j equals to 0, comma, j, k equals to 0. I can write a number of initializations. So here we have taken only 2, I equals to 0, j equals to 0. That is, it is multiple only, right? Yes. Here he increased the j also. That's what I said, right? But the thing is, you need to put comma. When it is a particular thing, you need to put comma. So in this, I can write j also condition I can mention. I less than 100, right? Comma, j less than 100 also I can write. Otherwise, j less than 50 also I can write. That is my wish. After that, semicolon, I plus plus, comma, j plus plus. See, the initialization is not there for this one. Initialization not there, so that is the problem. So infinite loop, these are things we need to check. So after jump statements, we'll see in the next class, I think. Better I'll stop it for today because we need to practice more things. On the next class, we'll do some only I'll show you the examples, so there is no theory class for you on that today. We'll do some practice on that. Okay, so that's all for today. CR, take the attendance, ma.